Hey there, and welcome back to Insights from Insight. I am your host, Amanda Armstrong, and today we're diving into a topic that might sound a little boring, but I promise you it's anything but. We're talking about the lost art of being bored and how uninvolved moments can spark genius. While we couldn't find a single definitive source with that exact title, the idea is a powerful one that resonates across all kinds of articles, studies, and even a podcast or two. It seems we're all starting to wake up to the fact that our constant need for stimulation might be costing us something precious: our creativity. Like most parents, I struggle to fill the day. And when my kids were in their toddler eras, I would spend every Saturday morning engaged in some type of organized activity. We'd go to the zoo, the park, the sensory gym, museums, whatever. We'd go out after breakfast, eat lunch out wherever we were. I'd pack a lunch with us most of the time, and then we would come home in time for our afternoon naps. I definitely did not give my kids any time to get bored. And it was like I was fighting against that moment with every available resource. Think about it. When was the last time you or your kids were truly bored? I mean, utterly, completely, nothing to do bored. For most of us, it's probably been a while. The moment we have a spare second, we reach for our phones, we grab the remote control, we scroll through social media, we check our emails, anything to avoid the dreaded state of boredom. But what if I told you that by doing this, we're actively sabotaging our own potential and our kids' potential for genius? The premise is simple. Our brains need downtime to make new connections, to wander, to daydream. And it's in these moments of uninvolved thinking that sparks of creativity are often ignited. So how does this work? Psychologists and neuroscientists are discovering that when we're bored, our brains don't just switch off. Instead, they activate a network known as the default mode network. This is the part of your brain that's responsible for a lot of your inward focused thoughts. So reminiscing, imagining the future, and coming up with new ideas. When we're constantly bombarding our brains with external stimuli, we're not giving the default mode network a chance to do its thing at all. We're essentially telling our brains, don't wander, don't daydream, stay focused on this cat video. One article I came across about this topic was titled "The Unexpected Value of Boredom for Well-Being and Creativity" in Psychology Today. I put a link to the article in the description. This article highlights that boredom can be a powerful motivator. When we're bored, we're driven to seek out new and interesting things. But if we immediately satisfy that urge with a quick hit of digital distraction, we never get to the deeper, more creative exploration that true boredom can inspire. This problem is a modern life problem. Our modern lives they're designed to eliminate boredom completely. We have a world of entertainment in our pockets. We can listen to podcasts while we do the dishes. We can watch any show literally whenever and wherever we want. And we can scroll through an endless feed of content while we wait in line for coffee. We've become so accustomed to this constant stimulation that the very idea of being bored can feel uncomfortable and maybe even anxiety-inducing. But what if we reframed it? What if we started to see boredom not as a void to be filled, but as an opportunity that maybe we should embrace? I am a big fan of period pieces, specifically the British Regency era. And my interest actually predates Bridgerton. My first love is history. And so when I watch or read anything set in the pre-industrial or industrializing eras, I often consider the limited access to entertainment humans had for millions of years. I find myself almost jealous of that time. These Regency era women can just sit and stare off into the distance. Yes, was everyone dying of crazy diseases? And yes, was there a problem with getting food for a huge portion of the population? Absolutely. But there was time to just stare off in the distance. When we think about human innovations, the most revolutionary of ideas, they come about simply because there wasn't anything else to do. Inventors, thinkers, leaders of the past didn't have smartphones to distract them. They had long walks. They had quiet moments of reflection and plenty of time to be bored. And it's in those moments that many of their most brilliant ideas were born. So how can we reclaim this lost art of being bored in our own lives? It's not about throwing your phone in the river or moving to a cabin in the woods, although if that's your thing, go for it. It's about making small, intentional changes in our daily routines. So some ideas that I've had to get myself back into that Regency era boredom is to do something like schedule do nothing time. Just like you schedule meetings and appointments, block out a few minutes each day to simply sit and do nothing and let your mind wander wherever it wants to go. And I'm not talking about a mindfulness app or a meditation, but literally just sitting with no form of sensory input rather than what is just happening in the environment around you. Another thing that you might want to try to do is to embrace the mundane. Instead of listening to music or a podcast, the next time you're doing a mindless chore like mowing the lawn or folding laundry or washing the dishes, try doing it in silence and see what pops up into your head. This is my personal favorite way to work. When I was in grad school, my husband thought I was procrastinating when I was cleaning or folding laundry instead of writing papers or reading or doing my work for school. Eventually, I explained to him that what I'm actually doing is thinking. And it's why it didn't take me very long to complete my assignments when I finally sat down at a computer. And I still do this. A large portion of this podcast was written while I was doing something mundane. My best classroom lessons were created in the shower the day of. I would get out of the shower and say, oh, I have a great idea for a lesson. Then I'd have to rush to get to school to change my lesson simply because I just had this new thought that popped in my head because there was nothing else to do but think. Maybe take a tech-free walk. Leave your phone at home and go for a walk. Pay attention to your surroundings, but also just let your mind drift. And don't be afraid of the discomfort. The first few times you try to be bored, it might feel a little strange. You kind of actually have to retrain your brain to accept boredom because we have overstimulated the brain so much that being bored just isn't something that our brains can do. You might even feel like antsy when you're doing it, and that's okay. You got to stick with it, and you'll find that the discomfort soon gives way to a sense of calm and some clarity. And this is really important to force your kids to do because ultimately, when it comes time to take a test or to read a novel, especially as they get into high school, pages of the book are not going to talk to them. They really struggle. I have found that my children have really struggle with being able to just sit and read something because they are expecting to be entertained constantly. And so forcing them to be able to interact with something like words on a page without other outside stimulus is actually going to take time to reteach them. And it is something that my teenagers really, really hate that I do. The bottom line is this: boredom isn't the enemy. It's a powerful tool for creativity, innovation, and self-discovery. By learning to embrace the lost art of being bored, we can unlock the genius that lies dormant within each one of us. So the next time you find yourself with a few minutes to spare, resist the urge to reach for your phone. Instead, give yourself the gift of boredom. You might be surprised at what you discover. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for tuning in. And remember, sometimes the most exciting place to be is in your own head. I'll see you next time.